Hello, 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 ladies. Hello. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday. Well, I want to talk to you all again about something. I'm always thinking and I'm always coming up with something in prayer because I want to help you all. You know, Coming 2022, um, what I want to do is it's kind of like a no more pain fest. That's what I'm going to call this coming year. No more pain fest. Starting today. I know I make videos and it is to encourage you, to lift you up and just help you. However, I want to break some things. I want to help you all break some things, if that's fair to say. Okay? I want to help you all break some things because I've been through a lot and I don't want to see you all going through things that's just unnecessary to go through. So on this Sunday, I'm going to help you, okay? My hair is in the way. I'm going to help you all. So, what we're dealing with today is this thing that we call a fairy tale. Yeah. When we were kids, we loved the fairy tales. We just, when you looked at the fairy tales, you looked at Cinderella, um, you looked at Snow White, the newer age, you looked at Princess and the Frog. And, one of my all time favorite movies was Pretty Woman. I'm going to get to why these things have something in common, okay? I love fairy tales. I love fairy tales like who anybody else. Like you love a good romance movie, right? Like you love a good romance movie. When I'm looking at a movie and I know that it's a romance movie, like The Notebook. Okay, there's another one. It's The Notebook. Let me write that down so I remember that. The Notebook. Okay. So with The Notebook, if you all have not seen that, I don't know where you've been, but if look it up today, okay? It's about a couple, they went through some things. It's kind of like that love, that summer romance, and it lasted until they passed away. I'm not gonna give away every detail of it because girl, you gotta see it. I know you've seen Pretty Woman. I even want you to go back and look at Cinderella because then you'll know what I'm saying is true. Okay. One thing that we got so confused is this: you have it confused because a fairy tale is just that, it's a fairy tale. And you see the title, She Didn't Have to Hit Her Like That. I'm hitting you with this on this Sunday because what I want to do is get that fairy tale out of your mind because this is real life. I mean, it's okay to have a vision. It's okay even to, be young and you believe in that fairy tale. But when you're grown, that's not really how it works, right? You should know that by now. I mean, if you've been in one relationship, you realize that you don't just ride into the sunset on the back of a horse and bam, you're Prince Charming. He's in your life, he's ready, he's going to do everything that you desire. Like we know that that's just not realistic, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Because like I said, as children, we were excited, we were happy, like they stayed together. Oh my god, she put on the slipper and it fit. We were happy about that. I know I was. Like I said, I love a good romance and a fairy tale. So, had you ever noticed that every fairy tale started with a nightmare? I won't even go as far to say a nightmare. I'll just say every fairy tale started looking bad. And think about it, with Snow White, you know, she went through some things. She went through some things. She was under a spell, put under a spell and everything. It wasn't until her Prince Charming, until he kissed her. and brought her back, that it became a fairy tale. Think about Cinderella. She had the mean sisters, the evil, I want to say like stepmother. um, but she was a maid first. She was treated bad. You know, she was a maid to the sister and the stepmother and all that. It wasn't until later that her fairy tale came, right? And a lot of us, we're still looking for that man to kiss us and make it better. We're still looking for that man to just ride up and take us off into the sunset. We're still looking for those things. And I'm 41, you're 52, you're 27, you're 19, and you're still looking for that fairy tale. I said one of my favorite movies is Pretty Woman, and I'm probably watch that later today. Like I watch it all the time. But Pretty Woman didn't get her fairy tale until later. I mean, she was a hooker. I'm just saying. She didn't get her fairy tale until later. And who was it? At the end of every fairy tale, it's like a man and a woman having this perfect relationship. But who shows what happens after the fairy tale? Have you seen after the fairy tale? I don't know how many of you all watch this show called Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup. If you haven't watched it, let me go ahead and help you a little bit and explain it to you. It's a show where these people have a relationship with somebody in prison. When that person gets out, they want a relationship with these people. These people been locked up 20 years, 10 years, even 5 years. I mean, they've been locked up, and these people actually want them to get out, marry them, and everything else. I like this show because later they say life after lockup because it's like they show what happens after the person getting out of prison. And it's not always good because while that person was in prison, they were not getting really rehab. They were in prison. So while your life was going on, their life has stopped at a certain point and they're just not ready for that. These women, like, I used to just get some popcorn and laugh at it. I'm not going to lie because I'm like, this girl's crazy. He just got out. Like, how is he going to buy her this expensive ring that she's asking for? He ain't got no job. One of the women, she bought the man a car. A couple of them bought cars, but this one, it stands out. She bought him a car because she was like, okay, this is going to be his independence. Well, first of all, he's been locked up 20 some years. He does not have a license. I get it. You know, she was trying to be nice, trying to be loving to him or whatever. First of all, you can't buy a man's love, and he can stay with you and everything else, but it'll just be to use you, okay? If you're going to buy him everything, of course he's going to stay. A lot of women think that's the way to keep a man. No, it's not. Nor is having a baby. None of that. In fact, having a baby will make them run faster if they're not ready. So, back to this fairy tale. Like I said, we all have that fairy tale. We've all had that fairy tale, right? We've all had it. If you say, well, no, I don't believe in fairy tales and stuff like that, then why do you keep on going back to that man who it's not working with? You're just like, well, I can't leave him. I want to try everything I can. Well, he's cheated on you 10 times. You keep on seeing him flirt with other girls. He leaves you every other week. Y'all split up, and you're like, okay, maybe this time it's going to work out. Well, why do you keep going back if you don't believe in fairy tales? The reason you keep going back is because you're looking for that fairy tale. You're looking for that happy ending. That's what you're looking for. And I know I just helped you out because you didn't even know you was looking for a fairy tale, but you were looking for a fairy tale. Okay, sis? Now, I'm not saying that good relationships don't happen, because they do. But what happens is you want a fairy tale. And I'm going to use my husband's words right this second, because he said, a lot of people are looking for fairy tales, but they're not willing to pick up the pen and write the story. A fairy tale, it just doesn't happen. In order for us to see a fairy tale, somebody had to write that script. Somebody had to think that up. So it didn't just happen. And these people, I'll say this. Like, our grandparents, they were together 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, right? One thing that was told to me by older person was, yeah, I love him now. I'm still, my thing is, they said they didn't get to 50 years by giving up, and they didn't get to 50 years by not having problems. And I know somebody just got excited right there, because you're like, okay, good, good. I'm not doing wrong by fighting for this relationship. Some of y'all need to let those relationships go. I'm not talking about that. And man, beating on you, cheating on you, doing all that. Like, no, that's not what she meant. Some things are worth holding on to. Because sometimes, ladies, it's us that's the problem. You acting all crazy and stuff. You acting all crazy, yelling at him, just cutting up. And he hasn't left your crazy self yet, because he loves you. Maybe he did something wrong. Maybe he's done something wrong, and you forgave him and he got it together. There's all kind of reasons why relationships work. There's all kind of reasons why they work. But then there's a whole lot of reasons that relationships don't work. I don't want you all to get a fairy tale mixed up with reality. If you listen to everything I've already said, then you too have been looking for a fairy tale. I got married recently, and my thing is, I don't look for a fairy tale. I used to. I only look for what the Lord tells me every day. I choose every day to get up and choose him all over again. I choose to be with my husband every day that I wake up. He chooses to be with me. That's our choice. Because it very well could go one day, somebody wakes up and be like, I just don't want to do this no more. It's a choice. It is a choice. Your love story that you make, it is a choice. Quit talking about, oh my God, I want a relationship like that. This relationship goes. I look at it when I see it posted, and I'm like, wow. I'll see a couple, the man's holding the woman on the waist and they're happy, or another couple, they're playing and stuff like this. But y'all only seeing half the story. You want relationship goals. I bet you didn't know that he was hitting her in her eye behind the scene. I bet you didn't know that these two don't even sleep in the same room. But you see their picture though. Like, you see their Facebook or fake book. You look at their Instagram, or the I'm gonna make up what I want it to be Graham. Like, you're looking at things talking about relationship goals. Well, you don't know what they had to work through to get to certain points in their relationship where they can even take a picture together. Because I know for a fact, like, I have somebody who loves me, yes. But don't think for a second that we hadn't had a disagreement. I mean, I don't handle it like I used to. I don't go off and stuff like that, but we've had disagreements. I mean, he liked the cowgirls. I mean, the cowboys. I don't really care for them. I don't. I like the Steelers. He calls them the thieves, but we have issues, whether they be minor or big. I'm not going to tell you what our issues are because it's none of your business. But everybody's going to have something. It may be something so simple as one person doesn't clean up like you clean up. And I'm picky, y'all. I'm picky. Like, don't go sit down. And I know some ladies gonna feel me, okay? Don't sit down and kick the rug and stuff and just leave it balled up when you know all you had to do is straighten it up. That's not gonna ruin my relationship, though. It's an easy fix. If you're arguing about that, go get those little things that you lay on the floor and stop the rug from moving. That's one less argument you'll have. I just helped somebody out. You're welcome. Um, he doesn't wash the dishes. He doesn't cook. He doesn't clean. Well, that should not make you leave because you teach a man how to love you, correct? You teach a man how to love you. So if you cleaned up all day, every day, and you were like, no, I got it, babe, and he was trying to do it for himself, but you took over, you did it all the time. I'm not saying you're not being a good woman because I do it. I'm like, I cook a lot, I do all that stuff, but it's some days I'm like, I don't feel like cooking. We can go out and get something to eat, or he can fix something to eat. My thing is, don't teach somebody how to love you and then get mad because you taught them how to love you. You set up this fairy tale for this man, making him believe that that's what he had. Oh, you made him think that that's what you wanted to do and that's who you were. But now you're mad because you're like, well, you're taking me for granted. Is he taking you for granted, or is he loving you like you showed him how to? Or is he just going by what you said? Because a lot of us, we can be confusing sometimes. Like for real, I'm not the only one. Have you ever been upset and he's like, what's wrong? And you're like, nothing. I'm trying to say this with a straight face, y'all. But he says, what's wrong? You're like, nothing. And he's like, okay, then good night. And you were like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You don't even want to listen to me. Crazy. You're crazy. Stop it. Stop it. And you're trying to start an argument. That man asked you what was wrong. Now, and sometimes it's the men. Y'all get like that too. Stop it. Because see, if I ask you what's wrong and you be like nothing, I did say you be like nothing. Then hey, I'm not into patting down the grown people. I'm not into keep asking you over and over, are you okay, when you've told me no. I can tell when something's wrong with somebody if I've been around them enough. But so if I go on and I go watch TV or go do something else, don't come around pouting. Don't come around, starting trouble. You said nothing's wrong. So stop sending those mixed signals like that, ladies. That's not a fairy tale. That's not a part of a fairy tale. That's a nightmare. That's crazy. Okay. And a lot of times, it's just that a lot of us have to learn how to adapt. And what do I mean by that? Like somebody's question was, how do I deal with change in a relationship? Well, here you go, sis. The way you deal with change in a relationship is you be flexible. Everything's not going to go your way. Not all the time. Okay? Learn to be flexible. Because if you don't be flexible, if you don't learn how to be flexible, you're going to lose that person somewhere in that turn. Not only that, a lot of you all, you stress yourself out. Like you want the perfect relationship. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you there's no such thing as a personal, I mean, a perfect relationship. There's no such thing as a perfect relationship. And fairy tales are just that. They're fairy tales. Love your mate where they are. If you chose to be with that person, you said, I accept your good, your bad, your ugly, and that stuff that gets on my nerves. You accepted that. You got in a relationship with them. You married them. I'm going to even go as far as to say, some of y'all think that raising kids is a fairy tale. I don't know what in the who raised you you thinking. Some of you all had these kids and all you know how to do is put outfits on them. I mean, they're cute, but you're not teaching them anything. You know, your 6-year-old wearing pull-ups. Your 1-year-old got an attitude and they bad. Like your 4-year-old's chumping you, telling you what to do. Everybody wants a fairy tale. You cannot have a good child by leaving them to raise themselves. You cannot have a good relationship expecting that relationship to make itself. All right? Not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. I talked to you all about Cinderella, um, you know, about Snow White. I talked to you all about all the fairy tales that we grew up with. And there's some more. There's some more. There's always a fairy tale because I'll share this with you. Like I normally share a story. So here's story time. Um, when I was younger, I used to love watching the Cosby Show. I watched the Facts of Life and stuff like that too. Yes, I'm telling my age, and I don't mind. The Cosby Show, to me, was my fairy tale because my reality didn't look like that. I based most of my life off of wanting that Cosby relationship. I thought like I was going to have a man, have kids with that one man. We were going to have, these nice jobs and, you know, we were never going to argue because I didn't see the Cosbys argue, okay? I saw disagreements, but I didn't see arguments. I always thought that we would just have this perfect life. My fairy tale was the Cosby. What's your fairy tale? Drop it below. What's your fairy tale? I want you to like and subscribe these videos and share them with your sis. Because don't be the only one who becomes free and get knowledge. Share with somebody else too. I love you, sis. And remember that life is not a fairy tale.